Hey guys, nice to see you again. Welcome to my YouTube channel. For the ones who are watching me for the first time, my name is Arthur. I'm an appointment setter who's generated over $3 million through appointment setting for online businesses. I've made well over $15,000 in a single month with this single skill, and my goal with this channel is to share all my knowledge, my experiences, my journey, so that you guys can also start making money with appointment setting and living the life that you actually dream of. So today I wanted to do a very simple thing, but that I think will be very useful and valuable for people who are starting out. I want to break down the 10-minute call that made me over $3,800 in commission. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. It doesn't happen every day, even to the best appointment setters in the world, but it was a really good call on my side. The prospect was amazing too, but I wanted to break that down a little bit for you guys so that you understand what the structure of a perfect setter call looks like. So let's dive right into it. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. So yeah, I thought the way we do this is we're gonna dive in, listen to the call, and I'm gonna break down specific parts that I think are important. And I'll add in a few animations if needed so that you guys understand what we're going through and why we're doing certain things here. So.
Hello.
Hey, Noah.
Hey, how's it going?
Yeah, it's Arthur here from...
Yes, how are you, Arthur?
Good. How are you, man?
Good. Where are you in the world?
I'm actually in London, in the UK. What about you?
Oh.
I was actually lying. I was in Thailand, but I used to say that I was in London all the time just because I thought saying, yeah, I'm in Thailand sounded really just shady. So yeah, that's some advice for you guys, because I know every single one of you watching this probably wants to make money to travel to Bali or Thailand, but don't say that on your setting calls because it'll just sound like really shady. Let's keep it straight with something like London or somewhere in Europe, or just pretend you're in the US. That'll probably be easier.
Nice, I'm in LA.
Nice. You live there?
Yeah.
I was literally talking to a few of my friends yesterday saying that we really want to go to LA like next summer or something, but with the prices, the way the prices are, we probably need to be making a bit more money, you know what I mean?
Typically, yeah. Usually.
Yeah, so what I'm doing here really is just breaking the ice. What we call this in appointment setting specifically is called building rapport. So what you do when you're building rapport is using either something to relate to the prospect or using humor to have them open up. This will make everything in the process smoother. Why? Because it really brings down those walls with which people come into sales calls usually, right? Because in their head, they're coming in and they're thinking, yeah, I'm gonna talk to this guy, he's gonna sell me something I don't need. I'm gonna have to be super conscious about what I'm talking about and everything. But if you start with a joke or a light thing that they can relate to and laugh a little bit, then that opens them up and makes the whole process way smoother for you as a setter, which at the end of the day is all you want. Make your life easier, make more money.
Typically, yeah. Usually that's why it's easy for us to travel. Anywhere we go, it's always a little less expensive.
Yeah, for sure, man. The prices are crazy out there.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Yeah, look, honestly, the purpose of this call is not to take too much of your time or anything. It's just a good opportunity to learn a little bit more about if we can help you guys in any way. If I think that we can, I'll book you in for a call with one of our growth advisors to go through the nitty-gritty of the strategy. But usually I just start by asking if there's anything informational that you wanted to get out of the call.
So what I did here is what we call setting the frame. The reason this is so important is because unless you set the frame right off the bat at the beginning and you tell them that your job is not to answer any in-depth questions, explain the program, and all you're doing is really just qualifying them and making sure they're a good fit. If you don't do that, you're opening up yourself for hard questions that you don't have the answers to, and just the type of conversation which you don't want to have, right? If they know right from the beginning that your job is specifically to qualify them, it makes your life 1,000 times easier because that's all they're going to be thinking about. Sometimes, to give you an example, I tell them, hey man, yeah, my job today is really just to help you and understand if we can actually do something for you. And they'll just turn around and say, hey, cool, what questions do you have? Just ask me, ask away, and I'll answer. That makes my life so much easier because they know their job today is not going to be asking questions about the program or anything like that.
Just to make sure I cover it, you know?
Yeah. So I've been watching your videos, like these homework videos that you guys have been sending.
Yeah.
Your strat looks good, and things that you guys were discussing looks good. I don't really have any questions on that side per se. I think more so what I would like to learn more about from you guys is, other people that you've worked with with who are small, because we're a small startup and
Yeah.
we're not at the same level as some of these other groups that you're already starting from $1 million plus in revenue.
Yeah.
We're well below that. So I didn't even know if that's something you guys touch on, if it's something you can help us with.
Sure.
And then I can explain a little bit more on how we've done some influencer marketing already, and what the plans are for the future. So maybe we'll start there, and then I'll drive that more after.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Well, first of all, yeah, we definitely do work with startups. I'll expand a little bit more on that later. But just to make sure we're on the same page, are you guys looking for someone to actually do all the work for you, like an agency, or are you guys open to other options like learning the skills and really building the foundations of the brand?
We're open to both. Are you guys more on the latter?
When it comes to smaller brands, yes.
Yeah, so what I did here is on this specific offer, what we had was we had a done for you package where we came in, did everything for them, and we had a done with you package where it was more coaching, and it was for obviously smaller brands, right? This was an e-commerce coaching program. And on the first one, obviously they have to be big, but because he told me already that he's small, and one of his questions was, do you guys work with smaller brands? And I already know I might as well ask this question right away, because otherwise I'll be wasting my time. If they're looking for a done for you service, it's not something we're going to be able to provide them. And this is super important because not all setting calls are the same. So here I'm not following a very clear script that I would use on every single call. What I'm doing is I'm using critical thinking to understand, okay, where's this guy at and what should I ask right now to make sure that I make my life easier and I don't waste his time either, because at the end of the day, if you're not wasting your time, you're not wasting their time, everyone's happy and everyone has time to go out and make more money. So that's really the goal, is using critical thinking at certain points and time to understand what is the best question to ask right now with the information that the prospect has given me.
Because that's the way we have seen it working in the past.
Gotcha. So you're more consultant style for the younger brand.
Yeah, more consultant / coaching, because the reality, is I like to be 100% transparent. We would never recommend an agency for a smaller brand. We're seeing so many brands getting screwed over because first, you can't qualify their work if they're good or bad because you don't understand marketing yourself well enough. You don't have that basics. And what we've seen, and you saw our videos, we have like all the brands that we own all together, they make basically $500 million in revenue every single year. So we know what we're doing when it comes to e-commerce brands, but all the brands we've invested in or started, the founder always has a foundational understanding of how things work and how to grow the brand. They don't just outsource it all and expect to be successful.
What I'm doing here is very advanced in the setting world, but it's so important because you don't want to just be a normal setter. You're qualifying people, reading off a script. You want to actually help the closers have an easier job at closing the deal, because that just means you'll make more money. And so what I'm doing here is I'm relating our program and the way we see things to people that have gotten good results. So I'm saying founders who really got great results in our program always had a foundational understanding of how things work. So they needed coaching, they needed consulting. And so if you want that same type of result, you are also going to need that. And so relating the results you've got for other people to your program and tying those results to your program will make such a big difference in the eyes of the prospect you're talking to. This is a really important point.
So what we want is to educate and really guide the founders through the process of installing the systems that are working in our bigger brands into theirs to help them scale as quickly and as effectively as possible, so that when the time comes to really outsource, you already have the foundations in place and you can qualify the work of other people, whether you're getting people in-house or hiring an agency. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So right now, I'll tell you a little bit of just...
This is really important also, is when you're talking to something very specific to your prospect, always get their commitment. And what I mean by their commitment is the commitment that they actually listened and they understand what you're saying. So if you listen here, what I said was yada, yada, yada. You need to have the foundations. You need to know what you're doing. Does that make sense? And I get the confirmation that for them, that actually makes sense. I don't just say it and then move on to the next thing.
What we've been doing, and then you can tell me, what you think about this afterwards. So far, we created a program called MII, and it's the name of the affiliate program that we're doing. Basically, it's a tiered system where each influencer would get their own unique code, obviously, and there would be 3 levels to the commission they would receive. So it's purely commission-based, no upfront payments. And level 1, level 2, level 3, the amount of commission would increase on each one. And after they get to level 3, however many additional boxes they sell within during that month, they're generating the commission continuously based on level 3. So that's kind of what we're doing. And if they get to the end of level 3, they're getting close to 50% commission or upwards of 50% commission, just because we're trying to be really aggressive to, make people happy and really give them an incentive to do, good content.
Gotcha. Yeah, I love that. Honestly, one of the big problems we see with a lot of startups is that they make the mistake of paying influencers up front, which is 100% one of the biggest mistakes you can make as an e-commerce owner, because half the time you think that it's still the same as like 2015, where you like pay an influencer for a post like 2K, and then they post and you get sales. But that doesn't work anymore, And so the way we work with influencers is the exact same. It's all commission based, meaning if they make money, you make money, and no one's actually putting anything at risk.
Here, what I'm trying to do with this prospect is show that I understand the industry and that I know what I'm talking about. And the reality as a setter is you do not need to understand the industry. You just need to have a basic understanding and have a few talk tracks in your sleeve, that you can use to make yourself sound like an expert. Because especially in a B2B scenario like this one, I wouldn't even consider this like B2B, because it's mostly like smaller brands and it's a guy by himself. He doesn't really have a business, employees or anything like that. But in a B2B setting, these people need to see you as the authority. Even though you're just a setter, you need to be seen as the authority. That is so important. So what I'm using here is talk track that I remembered about influencers, and I kind of related it back to what he said to make him, first of all, relate to me and to what I'm saying, and second, see me as the authority in this scenario. That is so important. You have to keep that in mind.
Anything at risk. Cool, man. And in terms of, do you have some specific goal revenue-wise that you guys are looking to achieve in the next like 6 to 12 months, or?
Here, what I'm doing is pretty straightforward, just ticking the boxes, right? Understanding their goals, their pain, and kind of creating that gap. Where do you want to be? What is the challenge that you have right now? How can we help you get to the point that you want to be from where you are, right? And kind of using our program or what we have to sell them as the thing that will take them there.
Honestly, I would say over 100,000.
Gotcha. Right now you're at less than 10K per month. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. By the way, is this something you started by yourself, Noah? Are you the only owner of?
Yeah, I'm the owner.
Again, as you can see here, pretty much just ticking the boxes, right? Decision makers is a really important one. I know that at some point I will check the financial. These are the main ones that I know of, or for most of the offers that I've been on. It's decision makers, understanding if they're the only person making this decision, because if you put them on a call with a closer and they have other decision makers involved that are not on the call, it's not really worth the closer's time, because they're just gonna have to repeat themselves at some point with the other person who will have to come in on the decision. Second thing is goals, right? Where do they want to be? Because if they don't have a specific goal, if they don't know what a bullseye looks like, they're never going to be able to hit it. This is a talk track I always use on calls. Prospects love this one. The third one is challenger. What's stopping them from actually achieving this goal, right? Because if you understand this, then you can understand how to create the gap and use what you have to sell them as kind of the solution to break these challenges and hit these goals, right? Fourth one is timing. This one is really important. Understanding when and why now in terms of starting to work with, right? Can they actually start right now? Because if they can't, then it's kind of a waste of everyone's time to actually put them through for a call. If they have a 2-week holiday and they can only start after that, then it's not really worth putting them on a call for the closer the same day, right? And the fifth one is obviously financial, because not on all offers, but on some offers, you'll either price drop or ask them if they have the money to invest, because at the end of the day, which good closer, which high quality closer wants to talk to someone who doesn't have money? None. So you have to make sure that all these 5 boxes are ticked. You can kind of shuffle them around in an order that makes sense for you. It's way easier if you have a framework. One thing I also wanted to offer every single one of you guys watching this video is comment the word framework, and I'll send you over my fully free framework for your setting calls or DMs. You can obviously, we can chat a little bit about it on Instagram and see what makes the most sense for you, but I'll share with you a fully free framework that you can use for your first appointment setting calls or DMs, obviously. But yeah, you can kind of like hit these 5 in an order that makes the most sense for you depending on your calls, and use your critical thinking to understand when is the best timing to hit each one of these questions.
Yeah, honestly,
That is
we
very
offer
true.
different strategies, but just so I know what could be a best fit for you, how much money have you set aside when it comes to investing and getting the brand to 100K per month? 'Cause I see on the quiz you put that you had more than 20K to invest. Is that accurate?
Yeah, we have as much capital as makes sense for whatever thing we have to do.
See, in this case, I didn't price drop. All I did was refer back to a quiz that he had filled out saying he had more than 20K to invest in the next 3 months. Just double confirm that. Actually double down. Get their commitment. Yes, we do have the money to invest if it makes sense, because at the end of the day, that's all you need. You don't need to know that they can invest now or that they can pull up their credit card. You just need to know that if it makes sense, they can actually take advantage of the opportunity. That's the most important thing.
So the capital isn't the holdback. It's just a matter of, it being the right move strategically. Like, we're not going to go put 20K in anything that's terrible, but if it makes sense, then yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I'll be honest, because I know most companies aren't when it comes to this. The minimum investment to work with us one-on-one for a period of 6 months is 12K. That's not 12K per month or anything. It's the whole investment for the 6 months. Is that something doable for you financially then?
For 6 months, 12K?
Yeah.
And that's for the coaching opportunity.
So it's for our whole offer that I don't want to get into too much because our growth advisor will do it way better than me, but it includes coaching, it includes influencers, it includes the systems that are working.
See, here the prospect decided to ask me a very specific question about the program, which obviously I don't want to dive into. That's not my job. I'm a setter. I don't have all that info. So what you do is first you deflect to the closer. Hear how I said, I'd love to explain it to you, but the growth advisor would do it 10 times better. So why would I waste your time telling you all this on this call when you can talk to him and get a way better understanding? And then is satiate that need that they have of getting an answer with easy stuff. So I just said the systems, the influencers, and the coaching. I kept it simple, gave him some of what he wanted to hear, but also told him that he would know way more if he hopped on the next call, which obviously is going to get the prospect excited to actually hop on the next call.
Are working in our brand, input it into yours.
Yeah, we can do that.
Gotcha. Cool, man. And the only thing that I want to understand also on your side is in terms of if you have a specific timeline in mind, because let's say that this was the best program in the world and could really help you grow your brand. What sort of timeline are you looking at to get started? Like, are you ready to start now?
Yeah. I mean, like maybe in the next week or so. So yeah, right now is good.
Double checking that he can actually start now, making sure I'm not wasting my closer's time. None of you want to be doing that. Your closers are going to hate you if you don't double check this.
I think the best next step, honestly, Noah, is to book you in for a call with one of our growth advisors and checking the calendars here. What is your availability looking like today and tomorrow?
Boom, there we go. We booked the call. It was around 8 minutes and 54 seconds until this point. And what happened with this call later is the guy went on to a call with a closer. It took about a week and a half to 2 weeks. It was a bit of a longer sales cycle, so to say. But the deal ended up closing for 58.8K. How crazy is that? And I had a 6% commission on that. So I'll let you do the math. And because it was over 50K cash collected, I also had a $300 bonus on top. So at the end, I did $3,828 with an 8-minute call. I hope this was, first of all, insightful. You got some idea of how to actually manage a good setting call. And 2, gives you an idea of the power that this skill has. Because look at this, literally 8 minutes and I made more money than a lot of people make in 3 months with hard work in a real job, right? So yeah, I hope this gives you some faith that this skill can really be a thing that helps you build the life of your dreams, because obviously not all calls are going to be like this. Obviously you're not going to make 3K off of each call that you do, but even if you're just making $100, $200, $300 commission with each close, you can be making well enough money to live a life that feels true to you. And that for me is the main thing that I want to transmit to you watching this video, is that with not that much, you can build a life that feels true to you, that actually makes you happy, that actually fulfills you, that gives you that fire, that burning fire to get out of bed every single morning. That's what appointment setting did for me. And yeah, if you want to learn a little bit more about how we can do it for you too, just comment this video, send me a DM on Instagram at here, just added that in. And yeah, I'll see you on my next video.